You are doing everything wrong, but you think you're doing everything right. Working until 2 a.m., answering emails during family dinner, missing your kids' soccer games because that's what successful people do. And yet, success feels further away than ever. The National Institute of Mental Health reports that entrepreneurs are 2 times more likely to suffer from depression than the general public. And here's the crazy part, it's not because they're failing, it's because they're chasing success in the completely wrong way. Think of it like this. You wouldn't try to win a marathon by sprinting the whole way, right? But that's exactly what you're probably doing in your career or business. Now, I know this all too well because more than 6 years ago, I was exactly where you are right now. I was working 80-hour weeks, sacrificing everything, my connection with my daughter, my connection with my wife, thinking I was following the success blueprint. And what did I have to show for it? I had a failing body. I was completely blown up, almost 200 pounds, and a quarter of that being body fat. I was mentally drained. I was drinking incessantly, and I was losing friendships, and I was even losing business deals along the way. Now, according to a Gallup study in 2023, 67% of entrepreneurs reported experiencing burnout at some point in their journey. So what does this mean? This means that all of this is inevitable. You're going to experience some struggle, some challenge, some depletion of energy that's going to make you want to completely break down. And it wasn't until I discovered the 3 dangerous myths about success that were actually destroying my business. Let's talk about the first myth. But before that, let me take you back to 2018. Yeah, I was sitting in my living room at 2 a.m. I was afraid to go to bed because I stayed out working with clients again. And I didn't want to convince myself that this was what it took, that I had to do this for myself, for my family, even though my wife was upset and just livid with how I was living. And you want to know what that's like? It's kind of like being a phone with a 1% battery. And at the same time, you're trying to run every application at complete brightness. Spoiler, it doesn't end well. Think about it. How many times have you heard if you want to succeed, you have to sacrifice everything, your social life, your health, your sleep, your body, your relationships, everything. And here's the truth. Success isn't about running yourself into the ground because seriously, what's the point if you do? A 2022 Microsoft study showed that regular breaks increase productivity by up to 15%. But here's what I learned the hard way. Success isn't about sacrificing everything. It's about being strategic with what you give your energy to. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that Richard Branson oversees over 400 companies, but he still takes 2 hours out of his day to exercise and spend time with his family? How is that even possible? Love him or hate him, even Bill Gates has what's called a think week, where he takes a vacation every year just to read and strategize. And here's what that looked like for me. Instead of spending all my time doing, I actually devoted a good chunk of my time visualizing, being, strategizing, really being in the essence of who I wanted to become. And then I took some of that time and gave it back to the people that mattered most. When I finally started planning date nights with my wife, when I started planning quality time with my daughter, spent time with them collectively as a family, and even with myself, creating some pockets of time to have fun by myself, something amazing happened. My creativity went through the roof. I became more productive, even though I was putting less time in my work. And the work that used to take me 80 hours, at some point, it was taking me 25 hours a week to do. Now it takes me less than 12. Remember, you're not a machine. Even Ferraris need oil changes. The second myth is that hard work guarantees success. That couldn't be further from the truth. All right, pop quiz. If you're digging for gold in the wrong place, what's the best solution? A, dig faster. B, buy a bigger shovel. Or C, stop digging and check the map. I don't think I need to give you the answer, right? I think you know this. Yet those 67% of entrepreneurs burning out are choosing A or B, working harder instead of smarter. Remember when I mentioned those crazy hours I was working? Here's the hilarious truth. I once spent 8 hours with a client perfecting a strategy that he never even used. That's like washing your car in the middle of a rainstorm. Technically you're working, but you know, When I tracked my time for 1 week, I discovered only 20% of my work with my clients was generating 80% of my results and their results as well. Now I can create the results my clients want 80% faster, making my time more valuable, but also more available to help more people and spend it with my family. And finally, the third myth that you have to go it alone. This myth is like trying to be a one person band. Sure, you can do it, but you'll probably just end up with a headache and some confused audiences. There was one time, a period of time where I spent over 3 years trying to figure everything out by myself. Even Elon Musk admits that he almost had a nervous breakdown trying to do everything alone in the early days of Tesla. Here's a mind blowing stat. According to Startup Genome, solo founders take 3.6 times longer to reach scale compared to a founding team of just two or more. Literally, it could take just having one more person to accelerate your growth. Yet, most people don't ask for help. You know what finally changed for me? I got sick. I got really sick. I had an intense migraine. I was confined to my bed. It was the kind of sick where I couldn't even get out of bed for over a week. And that was rough. Like to be completely helpless and had to be taken care of because I didn't create space to take care of myself. How humbling was that for me to have to ask for help because I was so stubborn and wasn't willing to ask for help when I was more than capable. Some of the greatest successes come from collaboration. Steve Jobs had Steve Wozniak, right? Like you don't need to be a lone wolf. Find mentors, build a team, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Turns out the world doesn't end when you stop micromanaging every detail and stop doing things by yourself. Who knew? And let me remind you, Michael Jordan struggled until he had Pippen. I can even say Jordan couldn't even beat the Pistons back in the day until he had Tim Grover. Tiger won all those majors. It wasn't without Steve Williams. Tom Brady lasted 23 years in a league where the average career, even for QBs, is just over 4 years. And that wouldn't have been possible with Alex Guerrero. Like the list goes on. It's like the proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to take out your phone. I want you to open your calendar and block off 2 hours this week just for you. Think of it like putting on your own oxygen mask first. Like you can't help your business thrive if you're gasping for air. And it doesn't matter what you do with the time. Find something to do and see where it takes you. And watch how your body and your mind adapts to the environment, to the shift in time. And you're not even going to realize how unimpactful missing those 2 hours are. You have an ability as a tenacious individual to figure out how to create impact in the time that you're given, whether you're given 40 hours or 20 hours. Like we have an amazing ability to adapt. You're not going to miss those 2 hours. Remember, success isn't about sacrifice. It's about strategy. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. And you absolutely do not need to go it alone. These myths kept me back and so many other people back for so long. Don't let them hold you back. If this video helped you, please share it with someone who may be struggling and may need to hear the truth about success. Oh, and let me know in the comments, which myth were you stuck believing and are ready to destroy? Remember, your business should serve your life, not consume it. Unless you're running a zombie apocalypse survival camp, then hey, maybe consumption is on brand. Let this be your moment. Step up, take action, become iconic. I'll see you in the next video.